Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going a little softer on the eyes, monochromatic smoky eye, and I just did like a silver liner for the lower lash, something nice and simple, but I think it's impactful. Like I keep catching my reflection and I haven't been like this infatuated with an eye look in so long. Even if I do like giant lashes and blown out smoky eyes, like it's something about how simple this is that I find so captivating. So if you want to see how we got this look today, including complexion, right on down to why we chose this lip, make sure to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe because I upload 3 times a week. That's going to be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you're interested in what got us here, stay tuned. Okay, so for the sake of this not being a 50-minute video, I did already start my base, but I will insert a clip of what I did. I started off with a little bit of the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer and followed it up with both the foundation and the concealer in the MVP Perfect and Protect from Beauty For Real. This is in the shade Medium 1. I used the Tinted Moisturizer everywhere, and then anywhere I wanted a little bit of coverage or brightening, I used the concealer that comes in the cap. And then I follow that up with a little bit, like such a tiny amount of the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder, just to lightly powder the face, enough that I could still go on top of it with cream products if I wanted to, but not so much that anything is gonna move. I think I said that backwards, but you know what I mean. Anyway, for the sake of this video, I'm really just concentrating on eyes because I feel like it's gonna be such a simple look, but super impactful. So I am gonna be doing the base with you as well, or at least like the complexion part. Before I fully powder the face, I am going to throw blush on. So I'm going to be using the Wander Beauty Double Date Lip and Cheek. It is a cream blush and lip, and it has a clear balm as well, so you can kind of like travel with that, lip and cheek. I am going to use my finger for this just to warm up the product a little bit, and then with it on. Lately I've been really into cream blushes, just because they don't disappear throughout the day quite as quickly as a powder blush does. I feel like with a powder blush, 20 minutes after I put it on, I have to like amp it up again. But that's really pretty. I definitely think with this, it is a little more on the sheer side unless you really build it up, which is good because blush tends to get overwhelming if you go in with too much too soon. But this is very pretty. This is my first time using this, so in my most recent box from unboxing, I used the Milk Stick. I've been using the Beauty For Real Blush and Glow for a little while now, so I've just been really feeling cream blushes. I don't know, they just last so much better. But that just gives a really pretty flush to the cheeks. I'm happy with that. I'm going to take a tiny bit on a brush, just so that I can kind of like pinpoint it, because I feel like I am going to be powdering this. So that, you know, my skin's a little more oily. I need to powder for blush to stay on, or for any cream to stay on. So I'm going to like, not pack it on. We're going to go a little bit more than I normally would, so that when I put my powder on top of it, it dulls it down to the perfect where we want it. And I'm going to do that with the same Sephora Micro Smooth Powder. And just set and lock that in. And look at how the side I powdered is now like perfectly blushed. It just tones it down just enough to where I want it. Yeah, look at that. Like it's that sheen, that rosiness, but it's not overwhelming. I love that. And this might be like the perfect combo if you are not dry. I know people with dry skin love cream products. I typically don't, for this very reason, but a little bit of powder on top and it is beautiful. I'm going to take a tiny bit of the clear balm and balm up my lips because I'm planning on doing a matte lip for the first time in a long time today. So we want our lips to be hydrated. Alright, I am going to grab the Too Faced Chocolate Gold bronzer just to add a little bit of a glowy bronze to the perimeter of the face. I'm going in with a light hand because I don't want the skin super bronzy today. Lately, you guys know I've been like packing on the bronzer. Today, I don't want to do that. I really just want a soft glow to the skin. We're using this in, I'm not even contouring today. We're just using a light hand of the bronzer to kind of do everything. And even under all that powder, the blush, I don't even feel like I need to go in with a powder blush on top. So that's going to be a win from me. Yeah, I like this. This is pretty. All right, for the eyes, I'm going to zoom you guys in, but you can use any palette you want. I will be using, I'm like dipping into my collection to use things I haven't used in a while. So I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona Lila palette, but I'm doing a matte look, and I'm really just picking it because it has like taupey grays. That's what I'm looking for. So you can use any taupey gray cool tone shadows you want. I'm going to pull you guys in and we'll get started. All right, this look is going to be predominantly black. Not black, I'm sorry. This look is going to be predominantly matte with a little bit of black and then accents of like silver chromy happiness. So I'm going to start by taking this shade right here. If you are using this palette, it's the shade Nude Mauve. If you're using any other palette, it honestly doesn't matter. You can use whatever you'd like. And I'm going to start by basically packing that in the entire outer portion of the eye. And I'm not buffing it in my crease. I'm really just tracing it for shape, just so I kind of know what I'm looking to build to and the direction I want to take it. But I will end up taking that shadow on the entire lid. This is going to be like the easiest eye look I've done in a while, because the fun of this is the contrast between these soft, cool powders and a super metallic liner. It's not going to be like 90 eyeshadows. I don't even think I'm using any shimmer eyeshadows today. You know, we're going to challenge a little more. I'm going to try and use like one brush. Maybe two. Alright, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the shade above it, which is a little bit warmer and a little bit darker. And I'm going to take a little bit of that, just because when you layer warm over cool, it will darken quite a bit. And that's going to give us that definition in the outer corner that you guys know I am about. See how it just frames it a little bit more? And I am going to actually end up building that onto a little bit more of the outer portion of the eye. What I'm going to do now with whatever's left on the brush, I've been using it with this side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it upside down. So the side that has the product on it is going to go up against my lash line. And I'm just going to run those same two colors pretty roughly around the lower lash. I don't want something super precise, and I'll go in with a smaller brush later to detail it out. But I really just want that smoky grunginess around the lash until we go in with liner and mascara and probably lashes. You are going to look a little sickly with the shape and color, but don't worry, it will all come together when we are done, I promise. All right, going into a little bit more of the first shade. I am going to once again layer that over the outermost crease, and this I'm actually going to start buffing into the crease, just to softly diffuse that color. All right, I'm going to go into a pencil brush into a dark charcoal shade. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to be really precise with this. I don't want a lot of this, but I'm just going to frame the eye with it. So I'm going to start on the outermost corner of the lower lash. Actually, I want a brush that's a little bit firmer. I'm going to go in with this brush. Same color, though. And I'm going to take that super close to the lash line and really just concentrate it on the outermost corner of the eye. I don't want to take it too far in because I am trying to like elongate the shape. On that first brush with a tiny bit more of that charcoal shade, I'm going to add just a touch of that to the outer crease of the eye. That same brush, just like that first step, we're just going to blend all that together. All right, off camera, I'm going to go throw on mascara and lashes, and then the entire eye look will come together once we come back. I just want to see with the lashes. so I can figure out how high I want to blend everything else. Alright, I am back. I actually did skip the lashes because I like the way mascara is looking. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab a powder brush. And I took a little bit, this is the Givenchy Prism Libre powder. It's the like 4 different color one that are all like different shades of pink, because I'm pink. And I'm going to take that on a brush and I'm going to pack that under the under eye. This is going to do a few things. I like to do this when I do a smoky eye because it will re-brighten the under eye. It will diffuse any fallout that's going to go, you know, gray in the under eye. And then, when I am done with the powder that I packed on, I take a, you know, softer, fluffier brush, and when I sweep it away, it just cleans up that smokiness on the lower lash, so everything looks just a little bit more blended together. And I haven't touched any more eyeshadow, but it already looks so much cleaner than it did before we went to put on mascara. So it just kind of cleans it up a bit. So when we go in with the final 2 colors and blend the rest of it together, it'll just kind of bring it to life as opposed to, you know, toning it down too much. Although what I will say is with the eye on, I am feeling a little bit more gray on camera. So I'm going to take a tiny bit more bronzer. I know I said I was going in light, but I do feel a little washed out. So I am going to take a tiny bit more of this. And I'm going to have to give this blush another try, but since the eyes went a little bit more gray, I do want to add a little more of like a, I don't know, plummy tone. So I'm going to take Toasted from the Alamar palette, which is a little bit more of that like pinky plummy, just to deepen up the blush a little bit, because the color in the Wander is a little bit too pink to go with this eye look. Alright, I am going to take that first brush again with a little bit more of that charcoal shade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that towards the lashes and into the center part of the eye, just to add a little more definition. Now to pull it all together, going into that shade one more time, the medium brown, I'm just going to look up, and if you have hooded eyes, you see how you only kind of see the eyeshadow? I'm going to go into the crease, and I'm going to blend that shade up higher, so that way, and you guys will see this, when I look forward, you can actually see the eyeshadow. That is one tiny little trick that you can do anytime you do your makeup. Just tilt back, trace the crease, and then buff it higher. And if you have hooded eyes like I do, that is one tiny step you can do just to make your eyes look a little bit bigger, a little bit more well blended, and most importantly, when you look forward, people can see your eyeshadow. Alright, for the liner, this is the fun part. This is from Beauty For Real. It is the Eyeline 24/7 eyeliner in the shade Platinum Blonde. It is basically a metallic champagne silver. What I'm going to do for this is I'm going to take this straight into the waterline, and then it's going to wrap around the inner corner as well. And notice how I'm taking it both into the waterline and under the lash line as well. Alright, now that that silver is down and around the eye where we want it, I'm going to take a tiny bit of a brown liner. I know it looks weird. I promise it'll come together. We're going to take a brown liner and I'm going to put that right into the waterline above the silver, just to ground it a little bit more so we don't lose the shape of the eye. Alright, I'm going to pull you guys out, throw on some brows, and we'll be right back to tie it all up. Alright, we are back, and I'm actually really happy with how the silver is translating on camera. I'm going to grab an Hourglass brightening powder, and this is going to be the same brush I will end up using for my highlight later, but I'm just going to pull that down on the under eye, just to soften that a little bit more, and I'm basically going to just add a little bit of this powder anywhere I highlighted. Then I'm going to go into the highlighting powder and add a little bit of glow to the cheeks. And lastly, lip. I think I'm going to jump a little bit more out of my comfort zone for once and go in with a true red lip. I feel like that's a good idea. I'm going to grab a liner let's use, this is from House Labs. This is the Slayer liner, which is a little bit of a more vampy red, but I'm going to take a true red over it. I just want a little bit of that ombre effect. All right, now that we've got the darker red liner, I'm going to jump into, this is Red Rum from Jeffree Star, which is definitely like, actually that might be a little too orange. I'm going to instead go in with Charm from Dose of Colors. A little vampier, but not quite as dark as I normally go. Just going to lock all that in place. Not like I need to, because my left eye has been tearing so much that my whole face is probably saturated at this point. And the last thing, I don't do this every time, but when I put on a lip, sometimes I'll go in with the liner. I'm about to start talking and mess this up. I'll go in with the liner and just retrace just to give it a little more definition. And that is the finished look. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It's definitely very simple. It's not muted. Definitely bold, definitely packs a punch, but it's definitely a lot softer than I normally go. The emphasis is on the lip, but you still have this really pretty, like, I keep staring at myself in the reflection because I love the way this silver is playing on the eyes. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!